Hello, fellow pirates and buccaneers. It is I, Captain Outlaw the Courageous of Athena's Fortune. Today, I am here to present a presentation on why Captain Flameheart should be resurrected during the Return of the Damned adventure. And just to put it out here, any photos I use in this PowerPoint were created by Rare and by extension Sea of Thieves. My first reason for why Captain Flameheart should be resurrected is because he has not really had a presence in the game before this adventure, at least physically. He's either been a temporary floating head in the case of the Seabound Soul Tall Tale, or just a very authoritative booming voice in the case of the Heart of Fire Tall Tale. Now, it is true he had somewhat of a presence as both a head and a voice in the Burning Blade World event, which used to be available, but that world event has not been available since February of 2022, and we have neither seen nor heard from Flameheart ever since, except if you count whenever you replay the Tall Tales. On the other hand, Sir Arthur Pendragon has played an active role in both physical form and voice in 4 tall tales: The Seabound Soul, The Heart of Fire, The Captains of the Damned, and Lords of the Sea. In addition to those 4 tall tales, he has also played an active part in 2 of our limited time adventures so far, that being The Shrouded Deep and The Herald of the Flame. With a 6-3 imbalance of screen time, it is fair to say that Flameheart deserves a substantial amount of more screen time going forward in the game, and resurrecting him would allow him to have that screen time. Reason number 2. If Pendragon is banished to the Sea of the Damned, that will actually be a boon to Athena's fortune. While if Captain Flameheart is resurrected, Pendragon will be banished to the Sea of the Damned. While on the surface it might seem like a negative thing, he can actually be more helpful to the Pirate Lord as a sort of general of the damned. Helping the ancients sort of organize the more spiritual army of Athena's fortune on that side of the veil. When Flameheart has his body back, he would have more direct physical control over his followers in the Sea of Thieves, the living world. Pendragon can work alongside the ancients and possibly Bell whenever Bell catches up to him, to try and weaken Flameheart's grip on the world of the dead through magical means. And therefore, Flameheart's grip on the Sea of the Damned is weakened, and that means his overall power is also weakened. And that would give the Pirate Lord ample opportunity to level the playing field, so he and Flameheart can have a proper battle for the ages. Point number 3. For those who are not as interested in the Athena versus Reaper Civil War and are wondering if there's a moral reason as to why Flameheart should be resurrected, well, Captain Flameheart has a son, the Servant of the Flame, who really needs his father. The Servant of the Flame had a remarkable childhood when he was adopted by Captain Flameheart after Flameheart found him on a random ship he was sacking. His mind expanded phenomenally, and he became a true scholar. And to put some brawn behind his brains, Captain Flameheart made sure that his son knew how to use a sword and to use it effectively. And through all this training of his body and mind, Flameheart really got to get along with his son. And he inspired Flameheart Jr., or Servant of the Flame as he's most often called now, to actually become a pirate. So you can say, without Flameheart's nurturing, the Servant of Flame wouldn't be here. And seeing this closer relationship as an Athena player myself brings to mind the relationship between the Pirate Lord and his son DeMarco. When DeMarco was savagely murdered, the Pirate Lord was devastated. He wasn't himself for a while. And seeing the Pirate Lord's reaction to losing his son, just being unbelievably tragic, one can only imagine the grief the servant is still repressing over losing his dear father, whom he only knew really as a little boy. And since Athena's fortune really understands the value of maintaining familial relationships, such as with DeMarco and Lissetti and the Pirate Lord, resurrecting Flameheart would be in line with trying to restore a family unit. A family unit that has been torn apart for far too long. Now, some may say, hey, I don't pay attention to the lore. Who is just better in looks? That's the person I'll fight for. Who's better looking? Well, here's point number 4. Flameheart is objectively better cosmetically than Pendragon. Let's run them down. Captain Flameheart. He is always on fire. Shows he's always committed to what he's doing. That's objectively a plus. Seeing as Flameheart is a pirate, and a captain at that, he has a proper captain's hat, which has some nice bone inlays and a little fluffy red feather in the back. And keeping in line with his pirate captain status, he has a nice crimson jacket laden with the bones of his enemies. Just showing that authority, as a captain should. And as for facial hair, Flameheart has an impressive beard that, despite being cursed to turn into a skeleton, has remained on his body. And maintaining that sort of beard is not that easy. And as for voice, my goodness, if you have not heard his speech during the Burning Blade World event, he is a very authoritative voice, a voice worthy of a captain. Now, with Sir Arthur Pendragon, he does have an epic mustache. I will give him that. No one can pull off facial hair like that. However, his signature jacket bears an awfully exact resemblance to a Gold Hoarder jacket, except with his additional symbol which represents the Black Witch, his ship. For that's not really that original. And it is true, he does have a somewhat cool glow sword, the Sword of Souls. But as seen by the cinematic trailer, he just yeeted that thing right into a perfectly good painting. So, yeah, you can't really do much with a sword in a painting, so that's a negative. And seeing as Sir Arthur Pendragon is a pirate captain, sort of an unwritten rule of pirate fashion is that a pirate captain should have either a hat or at least a bandana. He does not have any of that. So that is a cardinal sin in terms of pirate fashion rules. And as for Pendragon's voice, he does have somewhat of a cool voice, but it sounds closer to Obi-Wan Kenobi than a former British adventurer turned pirate. And that is cool in most cases, but by pirate standards, it's still somewhat of a negative. So, weighing out all these considerations, Flameheart is just objectively better cosmetically than Pendragon. Now, others might say, look, I don't care which person I'm helping to revive looks like, I don't care about the lore. I want to make some money and get some progress. Well, this brings me to my fifth and final point. The Reaper's Path of the Return of the Damned adventure is just better for gold and reputation. This entire adventure centers around gathering bewitching dolls from the several sea forts occupied by Spanish ghosts. When turning in dolls to Belle, you just get a small amount of gold and no reputation for Athena's fortune, due to only being able to turn in the bewitching dolls to her. You cannot turn in any Athena treasure to her. So if you're working on Athena's fortune and leveling up your emissary, you can't turn anything into her. So if you're just doing forts and the Adventure of Belle, you're just getting the profit from the dolls. If you're working for the Servant of the Flame, however, not only do you get the money for turning the dolls, but so long as you have a Reaper's Emissary flag up and grabbing all the treasure from the sea forts you're helping sack, you can earn loads of gold with the help of that emissary flag by turning the other treasure you found in the sea forts, and that treasure can help you level up the Reaper's Bones. Now, true, it's not the same as turning in, say, an emissary flag with the Reaper's Emissary, but every bit helps when leveling up a trading company reputation. This would be especially helpful to those who are still not yet at Pirate Legend and are using the Reaper's Bones as one of their main three companies in order to obtain Pirate Legend status. In conclusion, with all the points I have laid out today, while it is usually all about the glory, it's not about the gold, it is usually about the glory, as the Pirate Lord has said. It is time to let the flame burn and to allow Captain Flameheart to regain his body and to finally have a main villain with a physical presence be here in the Sea of Thieves.